Hi everyone, I'm from California. My name is Mark Villian. I never thought my life could change so suddenly. Everything seemed perfect: work, home, quiet evenings on the couch, conversations about everything and nothing. But then the little things started to appear, things I hadn't noticed at first. She started staying late at work more often than usual. Sometimes her phone would ring, and she would hide it, something she had never done before. I brushed it off as stress, fatigue, anything but the truth. But the unease inside me kept growing. Why hadn't I noticed sooner? Why had I allowed myself to believe everything was perfect? One evening, while she was in the shower, I noticed a message flash on her phone. The name was unfamiliar, and the content was too intimate to be just a colleague: jokes, emojis, flirting. Curiosity overcame fear, and I read a few messages. What I saw tore me apart inside. "He's so funny," I laughed all day with him smirking-faced. I sat there, unable to believe this was happening to me. The next day, I tried to be careful. I noticed how she behaved differently: sudden phone calls, apps closing quickly when I was around, a strange smile when I asked about work. I tried asking directly, "Honey, is everything okay? Are you hiding something?" She answered calmly, but I caught a tone I had never heard before. Something in her voice said, "You're not supposed to know." And I realized that if I wanted the truth, I would have to act. Then it happened, the moment I had feared most. I accidentally saw her with him. That colleague, who had always seemed strange and pushy to me. They were laughing, holding hands, and it looked so natural, as if I didn't exist. My heart stopped. I left quietly so she wouldn't notice, but inside, I was boiling. How could she do this? How had I not seen it before? Why had I been blind? That evening, I sat alone, trying to collect my thoughts. I remembered every moment that had felt odd, every little hint I had ignored. I realized one thing: if I wanted to understand what was happening, I had to act decisively. I began watching her behavior, observing her calls and messages. I didn't want to admit that the trust between us had been broken, but the truth was obvious: I could no longer live in an illusion. Every movement of hers now triggered anxiety in me. She laughed with friends, went to work, picked up her phone, and I noticed all the little signs I had previously ignored. I tried talking to friends, sharing my doubts, but words couldn't convey all the pain and betrayal I felt. I felt not only deceived but broken. Then I decided to act. Not out of revenge, not out of anger, but to understand who she really was and what was happening between them. I prepared for the conversation that would change everything. In my head, I rehearsed every word, every phrase carefully. Why? With whom? What does this mean for us? I knew this conversation wouldn't be easy, that nothing would be the same afterward. But the truth mattered more than anything. The next day, I took the initiative. I noticed she was messaging him during breaks at work, and in the evening, she seemed more distant than usual. I tried to find a moment when we'd be alone so I could ask directly, but my heart raced with fear and anger at the same time. I knew that if she admitted it, it would break me. If she lied, I would find out, and that would be even worse. Everything depended on a few minutes of honest conversation. Finally, the moment came. We were alone at home. I sat across from her, trying to keep calm. "We need to talk. I know something is happening." She froze for a moment, as if she hadn't expected me to know. Her eyes avoided mine, and my chest tightened with anticipation. I don't know what you mean," she said softly. But I saw the fear and guilt in her eyes. I saw what she had been trying to hide all these weeks. I asked directly, "Are you seeing someone?" A pause that felt like an eternity. She lowered her eyes and whispered, "Yes." My heart shattered into a million pieces. At first, I couldn't believe it, couldn't understand how she could do this. Then I realized she hadn't been hiding it as a game. She had emotionally drifted long before, and this betrayal had been in the making for months.